St. George, Utah is running out of water. The Virgin River, currently their primary source of water, is stricken with drought, as are many of the depleted reservoirs nearby. But as the fastest growing metro area in America,
basically our population is exploding,
and one of the largest consumers of water per capita in the United States,
we're using too much water.
St. George has to figure out how to conserve the water they have, or bring in more water before the town goes dry.
St. George is a beautiful area, but people need water to live.
I walk out to the outlet pipe for the water that feeds all of the little farms along this side of the south side of the river. Yeah, see, it should already be spilling over, and it's not. It's just really low. And what will happen when we hit the wall in terms of water? What happens then?
The issues with water are as old as the West.
Despite record snowfall providing much needed moisture during the winter of 2023, over the last 20 years, the Southwest has faced its worst drought in 1,200 years, according to UCLA, and St. George, Utah is no exception.
A community like St. George, it's particularly challenging.
Over the last decade, the population of Metro St. George has grown by more than 30%, according to the latest census data.
If, let's say, growth just stopped, my job would be really easy, because for our population right now, based off the water coming down the Virgin River, I know I can sustain that with no problem. When I start looking out a decade, I'm very nervous. We have an active plan to provide water for new construction for 8 years. But after 8 years, there starts to become a lot of question marks, because it is such a large concern to basically say in 8 years, there's a possibility we would be out of water. And then the next question was, okay, how can we fix this?
Seems like every time you drive down the road, there's a new construction project on the side of the road. We now have a reckoning here that there's simply not enough water to consume and use at the rates that we've been using. Bottom line is, there's going to be a significant curtailment required or ordered.
The St. George metro area has some of the cheapest water in the Southwest. When you include the millions of visitors to Zion National Park, the 14 golf courses, and an arid landscape, they are stressing the already depleted Virgin River.
I would say we've had about, on average, I'd say almost a 20% less runoff over the last 20 years.
We're right on the banks of the Virgin River. The river should be about a foot higher and running a lot faster than it is right now. My first hay crop here was 50 bales. I normally get 150 to 200. It's not a theoretical thing in terms of climate change or whatever. It's happening right in front of us.
Even with record growth and less water in the Virgin River, on a per capita per day basis, residents use 2.5 times as much water as Las Vegas. So now St. George is facing a decision: find more water or slow growth.
I know that they're working on conservation, which has got to be a piece moving forward, but they do need more water. It will stunt growth.
There's just less water in the system for everybody, and we're trying to adapt to that as quickly as we can. We need very large infrastructure projects to adapt to it.
In 2006, the Lake Powell pipeline was approved by the state to bring water to Washington County through a 138-mile pipeline. But 17 years on, the project is on hold, maybe permanently.
News on the Colorado River. The warning from federal authorities just today that we're at a tipping point, in their words, saying historic water cuts to multiple states are now possible.
Lake Powell is at 25% of its capacity. It's basically empty, and it's been drained over the last 20 years due to overuse of the Colorado River. If you were to withdraw another 82,000 acre feet for St. George for the pipeline, it would put even more strain on the reservoir system.
So this project's been under review by the state of Utah for almost 25 years now. And when it first started, there was no controversy behind it. Where the controversy really started was also when we kind of entered this really, really bad drought. So I think if Lake Powell was 80% full, it'd probably be under construction right now.
As the drought continues and the pipeline project remains on hold, St. George, a town used to abundant and inexpensive water, will have to learn to adapt.
We have to figure out how to use the water available for the amount of people. Hopefully they figure it out in time where it's a smooth transition so we can support more growth coming in.
Once in a while you'll hear some people that grumbles about growth, but our cities have all passed master plans and zoning laws that are encouraging a lot of growth. And those individuals continue to get elected.
So the good news is there's great potential for conservation and reduction. And it's not just some pie in the sky idea, because we know that other cities, Tucson, Las Vegas, have achieved this at a scale much greater than our population. And that's our vision, is that conservation is the answer, not piping in water from a lake that's quite diminished.
I would like to pass this property on to my family. I'd like it to go on to the next 2 or 3 generations. We're actually thinking, what are the options for us in the future? Will there be something here for my son and my grandsons? I don't know.